So we want to take a second here and talk about one of our sponsors, Infinite CBD. If you go to the Infinite CBD website, so infinitecbd.com, and type in nerdy3010, you'll get a 10% discount on any of their products. The reason I love Infinite CBD is because it's made out of CBD isolate, which is the highest concentrates that you can get of CBD on the market through Infinite CBD. My back feels better. My anxiety's lessened. I feel so much better taking this stuff. Like, I'm not even kidding. They've got gummies. They've got oil. They've got pain cream. They've got suppositories for, butts and vaginas. They have CBD lubrication that is specifically made for people that have pain during intercourse. This will help you. Go to infinitecbd.com. And again, use Nerdy3010 for a 10% discount on all your stuff. Get on out there.
The Nerdy 30s, the podcast that proves you don't have to give up what you love at any certain age.
In a world where angels, vampires, aliens, witches, and elder gods all coexist, two people will unite them all. One, a young witch. The other, a young nerd. Who are they? And what magical world is this? Why, it's the TGIF cinematic universe, of course, and we are talking about Sabrina Spellman and Stephen Urkel.
Can I do that?
Yeah.
Sorry.
This is a magical episode of the Nerdy 30s. Welcome.
I ruined your opener.
Yeah, it's fine. There was no planning in that opening. So I'm Travis Harrison.
I'm Erin Naoma.
As you could have probably guessed from the opener, we're going to talk about oft-forgotten 90s tradition, TGIF. If you were our age, you would remember it fondly.
I flippin' love TGIF.
Who didn't?
It was this TV lineup that on Friday night you got to have all the fun and your parents had to sit there and suffer.
All the classics were there. You had Family Matters, you had Full House, Sabrina, Step by Step, Boy Meets World.
Oh, they were all so good.
Yeah, there's many, many more. But as we all know, the big trend in Hollywood these days is the idea of a cinematic universe. Marvel has done it, and they've made bajillions of dollars. DC is trying to do it.
It's not working. I saw like a little clip of Batman versus Superman, and it was not good.
You can't beat me up. My mom's name is Martha.
They were like,
so
what?
Is mine.
Our moms are the same. And then they both started crying and they hugged each other.
Yeah, and they kissed.
And then things got really physical.
It did. I think I watched the wrong one.
No, I think you watched the right one.
But the idea of a film cinematic universe is kind of new. But cinematic universes have actually been around for a while now.
Yes, indeed.
And one that I have recently rediscovered is, of course, the TGIF cinematic universe.
Yes. I go through these spells every few years where I rewatch the original Sabrina series.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, Melissa Joan Hart, she's so cute. So I watch it again.
Yeah, I recently well, I mean, everybody has been kind of you either love it or hate it, but like the new Netflix Sabrina came out. So I like that. I actually really liked it. Erin didn't. I think we liked it. I liked it, and she didn't like it for the same reason.
It's not that the acting was off for me. It wasn't that I didn't.
It so much.
It wasn't that I didn't enjoy. I liked where the storyline was going, but I couldn't get past the acting. Like it was like soap opera mixed in with like angsty teen, and I couldn't.
See, I loved it because the villain, Madam Satan, Miss Wardwell, every time She'd just be in the background, like, secret plan.
Watch me. Watch me.
Just slinking around, hiding behind bookcases. It was so funny to me.
I think what my problem was is that, like, I was wanting it to be, like, darker and wanting the characters to be dark and not make me laugh. Because, like, the original Sabrina is really lighthearted and quirky and makes you laugh. And then I was like, oh, well, this one's supposed to be spooky. Oh, I don't know if I should watch it because I get scared easy. So I turned it on and I'm like, nothing's scaring me. So I think I had a false idea as to what it was supposed to be. And I think that's what made me dislike it.
I liked it. I didn't find it scary either, but I like, creepy, like, spooky things. So.
I do too. Like, my favorite movie is, like, The Addams Family.
Yeah. But I liked it. But like I said, my favorite character was the villain because she was just, like, so over the top. Like, she was acting for the rafters.
Yeah.
Like, I loved it.
Well, also, another thing is people kept comparing it to Buffy. And I was like, no.
Well, I mean,
No.
I get that it's going for, like, some Buffy vibes. So, like, I mean, she had, like, a Scooby Gang and all that. And,
I didn't feel it.
I
didn't feel it.
I liked it. But because I liked it, like, I wanted to go back and revisit the original Sabrina.
Now that one I like.
And I did watch all 7 seasons. And to be honest, like, the new Sabrina actually, for all of its faults, it did actually portray the characters pretty much the same way as the old Sabrina.
I agree with that.
Sabrina herself was very selfish and impulsive.
Yes.
And her mistakes got a lot of other people in trouble.
Oh my gosh, the stuff that the original Sabrina did to Harvey was terrible.
Yeah, that was another character trait that carried over. She was just constantly manipulating Harvey and messing up his life. Harvey was still adorable and stupid. The ants were pretty much the same. Salem was different, but Salem is kind of split into 2 characters in the new one.
I actually enjoyed that. I liked the kitty cat being more so of, like, this protective spirit.
Yeah.
And then them having someone else that was more so of the imprisoned person there. I thought that they did that very well, and I actually really enjoyed that character.
Yeah, I like Ambrose.
I thought
obviously he's the gay. I have to love him.
I mean, not only is he awesome, he's also gay, which makes him even more awesome.
He's just slutty. He
likes everyone. He does what he wants.
Which is also canon from the original Sabrina, by the way. If you don't remember, Salem is actually super bisexual.
Yes, he is. Salem don't care.
Yeah, he's actually a little in love with Harvey. That is canon.
It's true. It's true. That is 100%
He's always
canon.
talking about marrying Harvey. He's like, I think it's legal in Vermont.
Harvey's so cute.
But
I remember when they broke up and Salem was so upset.
He was like, he was my favorite person.
Why did you leave Harvey?
Yeah. But like I said, I did go back and watch all 7 seasons of Sabrina.
Yeah.
And then I started, noticing the crossovers, which I remember from when I was a kid.
I do too.
But they're actually more plentiful than I remembered originally.
It's a lot. Like a lot.
So when you look at the crossovers, you realize the other shows have crossed over with other shows. Mm-hmm. And so it creates this entire interconnected world of TGIF that actually goes beyond TGIF.
Yeah.
That goes out to the UPN sitcoms, that goes out to the Disney sitcoms, that goes a little bit into Nickelodeon sitcoms, all the way to Saved by the Bell. We'll get there. I'll explain everything in due time. So, I mean, the original Sabrina, I enjoyed it. There was a lot of crazy things that happened there.
The thing you have to know about the original Sabrina is the same thing will happen over and over again, but you still like it. You do. Yeah. You still like it.
Sabrina never learns her lesson. She's like, it'll be okay.
She's like, magic's gonna fix everything.
I think I've done something similar to this before, but if I do this slightly different,
it's gonna make it better.
It'll be fine.
Everything will be fine this time.
And then suddenly, like, she has giant boobs or something.
She would have loved it, though.
That actually happened one episode. She's like, oh, man.
My boobs.
Aww.
Aww. My boobs. But why don't you tell us when the first crossover in the universe has happened?
I can't exactly because like if I'm talking about the first, I'd have to go to other shows.
That's
I'm just gonna start with like Sabrina.
Okay.
So we have one of the earlier ones was there was this plot device that involved all of the other TGIF shows.
Mm-hmm. I remember this.
Sabrina accidentally creates something called a time bomb. Salem likes the time bomb because it smells like fish, so he eats it.
Yep.
He runs away because he's in trouble. I don't know. But like every time like something, I forget what happens, something that happens around the time ball, it triggers another decade to happen. So Sabrina gets stuck in the 60s. And they have like this whole storyline in the 60s where, you know, Hilda and Zelda are like pot smoking hippies. And,
Yeah, I remember that.
And this is really fun. I actually forget the plot of that episode other than, you know, it was Hilda and Zelda being hippies.
Didn't Salem go to like Egypt or something at some point?
I don't remember. I actually went through and I tried to find every episode of every
TGIF
section, and I couldn't find two of them because they were just really short-lived shows. So I could only really
talk about Migo.
No, it's a different one.
No.
So it crossed over with first one it did was Boy Meets World. So that crossed over. Salem somehow ends up in Boy Meets World. Mm-hmm. Sabrina follows him there. It turns into the 40s there or the 50s. I forget. There's this love story where Corey goes off to war, and then Topanga.
Wait, are these past lives then?
I don't know if it's like past lives or if it's like just a magical, like alternate reality or something. I don't know.
Interesting.
But like Corey goes off to war. Topanga thinks he's dead, so she is going to marry
hooks up
Sean.
With Salem. Oh, my bad.
She's going to marry Sean. Sean doesn't want to marry her because, like, you know, they're friends. And he's just doing it for Corey. But then Corey is in Paris, and he has amnesia, and he thinks he's, like, an artist named, like, Jean-Paul or something. I don't know.
Which is another past life.
Yeah. And then, of course, you know, Topanga finds him, and they're like, you're Corey. Oh, they get married again.
Did she already marry Sean?
No, they called off the wedding.
Oh, thank goodness.
In time. But of course, Sabrina finds them. She's like, God damn it, Salem! And she chases them. And then they go to another show. I need to look up the show. I have them all listed here. Mm-hmm. You Wish. It was
I don't remember that one.
About a genie. I couldn't find anything about it because it was canceled after just a couple episodes. But it was kind of like a modern day gender swap. Yeah, I Dream of Jeannie.
Interesting.
So they go there. She goes there. Something happens. I couldn't find anything about that episode.
I know why it got canceled. They showed his belly button.
Probably. But then it ends at Teen Angel, which I have talked about with you before.
Yes.
Because we've talked about it on another podcast.
Mm-hmm. I vaguely remember that show.
It was like this guy and his best friend. Like his best friend dies from eating an old cheeseburger, and then he kind of becomes his guardian angel. It was on for a very short time too. The mom was played by Marcia from the original Brady Bunch.
Oh.
But she goes there. Salem accidentally turns it into the 70s. And everyone has a disco party, and like they accidentally turn their dog into a man who dates their mom. Is the whole whatever. But Sabrina finds Salem, and then they solve the time ball and go back. So that was like the first crossover adventure.
Okay.
On there, there's also another mini crossover.
Now, just so you guys know, Travis is explaining this to me.
Yes. So like I have like a chart, a map of all the different crossovers. But like there was another Sabrina crossover with Boy Meets World, where she dates Eric and like the other one, his friend, the one that was played by one of the
Lawrence's? Matt Lawrence?
Yeah.
I don't remember his name.
Boo Boo Lawrence. I don't know. The other one.
His real name is Matthew Lawrence.
So yeah, she had a brief cameo in that, and because like the episode dealt with Eric's ex-girlfriend was a witch, and they were like, "You'll never believe my ex was a witch." Yeah, no, that episode like Candace Cameron was in it as a witch.
I remember this.
But she was like a cliche, like, I like the devil witch, which is very ironic how Jesus she is now. So like Eric's like, you won't believe my ex-girlfriend, she was a real witch. And Sabrina was like, huh. And she just like did the little wink at the camera and shit.
She's like, oh, no way. Witches aren't real.
Yeah. So Sabrina also goes to Los Angeles for half a second and pops into Clueless, the TV show.
Heck yes.
And then pops out just as a jokey little cameo.
I'm going to be honest with you. They should not have canceled that show.
I know.
They canceled it after like one season.
It went on for about 3 seasons.
Did it? Mm-hmm. It wasn't on very long. It should have been longer. That thing was good.
For 3 seasons. But the last season was on UPN, where they also crossed over with Moesha.
Oh, that was a good show.
Which crossed over, of course, with the Parkers, which was the spinoff.
Absolutely.
Which crossed over with Girlfriends and the Hughleys. So that's like a whole other section of sitcoms that are in this extended cinematic universe now.
I vaguely remember the Hughleys. Not well.
Yeah. It was another sitcom. I forget if it was on UPN or if it was on another network that just crossed. But whatever, it crossed over with the Parkers and Moesha a couple times too. So that and Girlfriends, they're all in this universe, even though they're UPN shows now.
Okay.
Let's hop over to Urkel, the other linchpin in this cinematic universe.
Urkel goes everywhere.
Urkel, of course.
I remember Urkel on like everything.
Yeah, Urkel was on Family Matters, which was his show. He also crossed over to Full House, where he like helped Stephanie overcome her fears of dancing, I think.
No. It was her glasses.
Her glasses, okay.
Yeah, Stephanie got glasses, and she didn't want to wear them whenever she was getting her school photo. And Urkel gave her the idea to just make fun of her glasses so that other people wouldn't make fun of her.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Okay. Yeah, and then Urkel also was on Step by Step, which he crashed one of their picnics.
Really rude.
Did I do that? I crashed your picnic.
Yes, you did.
Okay, and that was a spinoff. Sorry, I'm looking at my map.
Now, in case you guys don't know who Steve Urkel is, Steve Urkel was on the show Family Matters, and he was actually supposed to only be like a bit part.
Yeah.
And the audience absolutely loved this nerdy guy that came into this police officer man's house.
He just took over.
He took over everything.
He took over the show.
It makes me wonder, like, how mad the other actors were.
I mean, like, some of them just started disappearing. Like, the little sister just went upstairs one day and never returned to the show again. She never came back. And they didn't even explain it. They're just like, well, I guess we don't have another daughter.
Bye. There was another show that did that I was like, whoa, where'd they all go?
Was it the Torkelsons?
It was the Torkelsons.
Because we talked about this before.
Yes, we talked about that
where
before.
She just moved and suddenly she has she's missing 2 children.
It's like, what happened?
And she said, we'll never speak of them again.
Maybe the dad took them.
They got lost in the move.
Maybe the dad took them. We'll just say the dad took them. Oh, something that I wanted to bring up before we move on from, for Family Matters.
Yeah.
Family Matters is actually a spinoff of Perfect Strangers.
Yes,
which was one of my favorite TV shows growing up. So it's this guy, I can't think of their name, Balky and... Crap, what is his name? Balky. Yeah, Balky and the dude. So Balky is like this foreign guy that comes and starts living with this dude. And Carl Winslow is somebody that... He's a police officer that lives in their building. So up and down, anytime that they go into the elevator, they run into him. And the producers liked him and were like, let's give him a show. And then Steve Urkel stole it. So thanks, Steve.
Yeah,
you did it,
Urkel,
honey.
He's a thief, but he's also, him and Sabrina are the linchpins of this universe.
Yes, they are.
Because they always cross over and everything. Urkel also visited this very short-lived show called Mego, which you brought up earlier, which was supposed to be like a modern-day Mork and Mindy. It was like this alien guy. Fun fact, Michelle Trachtenberg was on it.
Yes, she was.
So Mego, it only had like 5 episodes, but in that 5-episode span, it had 2 crossovers.
Yes, it did.
So it had Urkel. It also had an episode where apparently, like, they're on the radio trying to talk to somebody, and they reach Gilligan from Gilligan's Island, which
Was it actually Bob Denver?
I think it was.
That's so cool.
But
Bob Denver plays Gilligan.
the reason I'm not gonna like harp too much on that, because my theory on Gilligan and Gilligan's Island, because it crosses over with so many shows and I'd have to add so much to it.
I think they're in a time warp themselves.
Yeah, I feel like they're in some Bermuda Triangle Lost situation where they're in some alternate dimension.
Right. That's
So
actually where they
can-
got the idea for Lost.
Yeah, they can.
It's not. I'm just kidding.
I mean, probably.
It might
It's
be.
like Lost is basically dramatic Gilligan's Island.
Which is lame. Where's Gilligan? Where's my comic
He's on
relief?
the other side of the island. He got eaten by the polar bear.
What if they're there at the same time?
You just keep missing
You just
each
can't
other.
see each other.
Yeah, so like I don't really count Gilligan's Island in as part of this universe because I feel like they exist in their own timeline where they're just
Right.
constantly accidentally stumbling out. So they're just kind of like a soft extension. Mm-hmm. They're like an addendum.
They're there, but they're not there.
So that's everything that's on the original TGIF lineup, plus some EP shows. However,
I want to add. Oh, you're just talking about.
I'm
TGIF.
talking about the
Go
originals.
ahead. Go ahead.
but it's still going on today because we have Fuller House.
Oh, well then wait a second. Let me talk about something that's on the original that
Yeah, go ahead.
I noticed. Because I knew that Travis was going to be talking about this, and I
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to go too deep into it because I wanted Travis to be able to explain it to me because I knew he was having fun with it.
Yeah.
But something that I always noticed when I was younger is that the monkeys always showed up in all of these shows on
Mm-hmm.
TGIF. The Monkees is a 1960s television show that had Peter Tork, Mike
I was
Nesmith, Mickey Dolenz, and Davy Jones.
I was just watching something on that. Topanga's dad is one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So the Monkees actually were on Boy Meets World. Corey's dad was in a band with Mickey and Peter. And somebody else. I want to say it was some other teen idol. Might have been Peter Noon. I don't remember who it was, but I just remember the Monkees because that was like, oh, the Monkees. But he was on there. Also, Davy Jones was snapped into a Sabrina episode. And he sang Cheer Up Sleepy Jean.
Mm-hmm.
And then also the Monkees were on the new version of the Brady Bunch movie.
Yeah. Which, fun fact, I didn't really I couldn't find the episode to watch.
Uh-huh.
But according to Google, because I did a lot of cross-referencing
Yeah.
shit, apparently Jan Brady appears in an episode of Moesha. So if that's right, if that's real, then that means that the Brady Bunch movie is part of the TGIF cinematic universe, which means your thing is correct.
Mm-hmm. And then let me add this. Mitch and I were just watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
Jan Brady was on an episode.
Like Jan Brady or just the actress?
The actress.
Okay.
But they never say her name on it. They always just call her Arizona Desert Trash.
Mm-hmm.
So it technically could be Jan Brady because she talks like this, just like Jan Brady in the stinking movie. And I was like, oh my God, it's just Jan Brady. It's just Jan. This is that's what happened to Jan after she got out of high school and she had to go into the real world that wasn't all fake grass and tiger dog.
Yeah, and she got some mental problems. She's got some schizophrenia or
Oh,
something.
you know she does.
Because she's got those voices in her head that are like, kill. Yeah.
Cut the crap, Jan.
George
I loved that when the original Carol went up to her, just shook her. It was good.
Also the Beach Boys exist too. So
Oh, absolutely. The Beach Boys
'cause
are
they're
on Full
all
House
over
all
Full
the time.
House all the time. Also in the TGIF cinematic universe, Sabrina the Teenage Witch accidentally created the Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
Because there's an episode where she uses magic to give her and her friends talent so they can win a battle of the bands. And, of course, she learns her lessons. That's cheating at the end of the episode. So she accidentally loses a bottle of it's like soda, but it's talent in a bottle.
Yeah.
So she loses one, and then of course the Backstreet Boys, they're just a bunch of dude bros playing basketball, and they're like, I'm thirsty. There's a bottle randomly on the
drink
ground.
this.
And then suddenly they just all start singing.
Why would you drink a bottle that's just laying on the
I
ground?
don't know, but apparently if you do, you might get
Nasty boys. Also, Howie Dorough, which is a Backstreet Boy, he is the tenor. He plays in I think it's the last season of Sabrina. He plays a famous singer in the show that she has to go and interview, and he's like really pompous, and she hates him. So maybe she started him in the beginning, giving him his special juice. That sounds terrible. Yeah. Giving him special juice.
His go-go juice.
His go-go juice. You did it, honey.
Yeah. She's also friends with Britney Spears.
She is. Britney Spears is there. NSYNC was on there, and she just like popped up on stage while they were dancing. And she was like, this is interesting. And then NSYNC was also on Clueless because I think Joey Fatone was dating, what's her name? The redhead.
What's her face? Who goes on to play Sabrina's friend in season?
Exactly. So
5, 6, and 7.
It goes in a big old loop again. And she is also, the girl that plays Sabrina's friend, is also in the I Drive Myself Crazy video NSYNC has from the 2000s.
It's probably Morgan. She's just like, I was in an NSYNC video.
It's Morgan, yeah. Oh, I guarantee it. This is what I know.
Yeah.
Don't I look
Daddy
good?
paid NSYNC to put me in a video.
Don't I look good?
Yeah. Also, there's a meta thing going on, and it's probably because they didn't mean to create a cinematic universe, but I'm going to choose that they did.
I like this. Where's it going?
So, on Step by Step, John Stamos appears as himself.
Hells yes, he does.
Talking about Full House. So apparently Full House is also a show within the show. Oh. So maybe like the people on Full House are watching a show called Full House where there's an actor that looks just like Uncle Jesse.
But wait a second. Kirk Cameron was DJ's cousin on Full House.
Mm-hmm.
What?
No, that's a different show. Step
no,
by Step.
I know, but I'm saying that like Kirk Cameron's her brother.
I know.
And then, wow, it's all Growing Pains is in there too. Like it's all together.
Yeah.
Travis, you're blowing my brain right now. Oh, actually, Leonardo DiCaprio is also on Growing Pains. So I'm gonna say Titanic is in this as well.
So he de-ages and reappears in the 90s as like a 12-year-old who's just really rebellious.
Who? Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
He instead of freezing in the water,
though it's so cold it shrinks him to an adolescent again.
Oh my gosh! It's like Benjamin Button, but for babies. It's the reverse Benjamin Button. And that's why Rose couldn't find him, because he was a baby.
Well, first he escapes the cold water and he turns into like 30-something in the 20s. And then he becomes Jay Gatsby. And then he gets shot.
Oh my God.
And then he shrinks and turns into a 12-year-old.
Wait. When did that thing Catch Me If You Can happen?
I don't know.
Was that in the 80s?
I don't know. I always assumed it was like in the 40s or 50s. I don't know.
My dad actually met the guy that's after. And my dad was like, I met this guy. It was really cool. And I was like, Dad, he's like a criminal. And he was like, oh, okay, he's cool.
He's a cool criminal.
He socked it to the man.
He's a smooth criminal.
It was the 1960s.
Okay.
1960s. So,
well, then he became
Great
a criminal.
Gatsby, and then... Wait, doesn't Gatsby die?
Yeah, Jay Gatsby gets shot at the end of the Great Gatsby.
Oh my gosh, all of these movies
and he
are
dies
just
in a
reincarnations of Leonardo DiCaprio.
Maybe does he die in water in Catch Me If You Can? Because he dies in water in the first two.
Oh my gosh, hold on. Hold on.
He's just
this is getting
dying
deep.
in water.
Does Leo DiCaprio... I'm spelling DiCaprio like...
DiCaprio.
Yes, that's what I did.
DiCaprio.
Catch Me If You Can died. Let's see if he got killed. Oh, hey, this is actually interesting. What if they're all just this guy from Catch Me If You Can? Because in the story, he managed to pull off that he was an airplane pilot, a doctor, a lawyer, and a college professor.
Wait, isn't he also in Inception? What if it's just all his dreams?
What if we're in Leonardo DiCaprio's dream right now?
He's dreaming about this podcast. He's like, finally, they're talking about me. I got my Oscar, and now the Nerdy 30s have me in their
The
podcast.
indigenous people. That guy waited like 40 years to get himself an award, and he wasn't like, thank you. He was just like, the indigenous people. And I was like, okay, don't be proud of yourself.
Yes.
Just, it's cool. It's cool.
Yes.
I like to make fun of him. He looks like me, by the way. If he was a boy, if I was a boy and he was a girl, we would, yeah. Oh, wait, we would just switch places then. If we were both girls, then yeah. No jokes, he looks like me. I'm going to pull you up a picture.
Okay. Well.
Now that we've gotten really sidetracked.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be honest with you. I think there's something to this Leonardo DiCaprio thing.
I have like a bunch of like random little side notes that I haven't brought up, but they're all about Sabrina, and I'm just going to read them off.
Do it.
Sabrina's a racist.
Oh, of course she is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I added a note as to why I said this. The episode where they go to Disney World.
Yes.
And she's in the Animal Kingdom, and her quizmaster is a black witch man.
Yes.
And he's the
7-Up Yours guy.
Yeah, and he appears in like an African shirt because he's part of. Like, he's trying to blend in, I guess, to the Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
And Sabrina says something about it being, from his homeland or something. I don't know. And I was like, Sabrina! How racist are you, Sabrina? Well, she made some crass comment about, like, his outfit being, like, from Africa. Like, something about him being from Africa. I don't know. I just remember, like, I was like, ooh. Ooh.
I don't remember
also, there's an episode with a kung fu tournament.
I blinked out of most of that.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of things in the 90s where we're revisiting lately, and we're like, ooh.
It's like, oh, honey.
There's also an episode with a kung fu tournament, which
this.
caused a really cool rumor that turned out to not be true.
What is it?
It was the Mortal Kombat thing that I was telling you about not too long ago, where Sabrina and Mortal Kombat apparently took place in the same universe.
It's not true.
But it's not true because it's this episode where the guy that played Shang Tsung in Mortal Kombat, he's like a karate guy that wins a tournament. But like the episode is called Sweet and Sour.
What about Karate Kid? Is that in the same universe?
No. It's called Sweet and Sour Victory. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Wow.
Yeah. They were like, you have to try and win without your magic.
Yeah.
Isn't that what the dude, her spellmaster, is that what it is?
Quizmaster, yeah.
Quizmaster? He was like, you can't use magic.
He's cheating.
Here's Leonardo DiCaprio looking like me.
Oh, he did. Is that from Man in the Iron Mask?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. I also have the note, witches caused Pompeii.
What?
Yeah, I forget. Hilda says it at some point. It's something about taking a loophole on magic or cheating with magic accidentally caused Pompeii to happen, so they destroyed Pompeii accidentally.
Interesting.
I have another note about Murray from Clueless being the wizard Dashell. Because it's the same actor. It's, what's his face? From Scrubs.
Turk?
Yeah, he was in Clueless, and also...
I know his name.
He played... I forget his name.
He is, like, one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Donald Faison.
Donald Faison,
I love that man.
Because he played Sabrina's boyfriend for a couple episodes in, I think, season 2 or 3. One of them.
I think 3.
Yeah. He was a wizard. But then she also goes to... So here's how I fix that, like him being in Clueless and that, and then Morgan being Amber. Like, I'm thinking of it kind of like in a similar fashion that American Horror Story does things, where they have a shared universe, but they have the same actors playing multiple roles. Yeah. So she's like, there's a couple of people that look alike. Whatever.
To me, it sounds like they're all happening at the same time, and they're just different layers.
Yeah, everybody's got a twin. But like I was saying earlier, this universe is still going on. We have Fuller House. Which is still going on for now, for at least one more season.
Is Fuller House the original one, or is this like an offshoot of them in a different universe? Because Nelson is not played by the same man. Nelson is
I
played
mean,
by...
there's recasts on these shows all the time.
Right,
so it's
but
not...
everyone else is the same. So is Nelson... Was Nelson replaced by a clone?
Maybe. Who knows? Maybe Nelson is a shape-shifting wizard person, because we know those are possible.
They are
this
indeed
world.
possible.
So another way that this universe was still going on, well, it was going on. The show ended like last year, the year before, but the spinoff of Boy Meets World, Girl Meets World,
Yeah.
where it's the future, it's Corey and Topanga's children,
Girl meets world.
and all their family's adventures.
I'm going to be honest with you. I watched like several episodes of that. The only thing that I absolutely loved was Corey and Topanga.
Yeah. I like their kids. I thought they were cute.
The storylines with the kids just felt really hollow, and I wanted more.
It gets a little bit better. I haven't watched all of it, but it does get a little bit more heartwarming when Sean shows up and like he really bonds with his little counterpart on the show and becomes kind of a father figure to her.
All
It's
right.
cute.
I only watched a few episodes, so maybe I need to give it a little bit
And
longer.
him and Angela meet up again, and she talks about how like he changed her life, but because it was a Disney Channel show, that crosses over to all the other Disney Channel shows, all the live action Disney Channel shows like Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, Hannah Montana, Wizards of Waverly Place, obviously, because witches and wizards exist in this
Oh,
universe.
of course.
But that's So Raven, which obviously, she's a psychic, so she's a magical being in this universe of magical beings. So here's a theory that can connect us to Saved by the Bell.
Interesting.
Raven attends Bayside High School,
What?
which is in San Francisco, but in the original Saved by the Bell, it's in like LA.
Right.
So, but if you go back to Saved by the Bell's original format, Good Morning Miss Bliss, they go to a high school. I don't know if it was called Bayside, but they go to a high school in Indiana. But then suddenly they're in California with mostly the same people. It's not like everybody's going to just suddenly move to California together.
Interesting.
And they have the same principal.
Interesting.
So the theory is that Bayside is kind of like a magical, like Hogwarts type place that just kind of transports to different places.
Are we there right now?
Maybe. So, I mean, it can be in Indiana sometimes. It can be in LA. It can be in San Francisco. Which also means that Zack Morris can actually freeze time.
Zack Morris is...
Because he's an evil wizard.
He is an evil wizard. Can we talk about how evil this guy is for a second?
Yeah, there's like a whole series of like YouTube videos called Zack Morris is the Worst, I think.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, here's all the horrible things that Zack Morris did on this episode.
I mean, he literally made his girlfriend pose almost nude in a photo shoot.
He's constantly gaslighting all of his friends.
Oh, 100%.
Causing health risks to everybody. I remember the episode where he's like, oh, this lab experiment gets rid of pimples. But it's like untested chemicals, and it gives people chemical burns.
He's like, put this on your face.
And turns their faces red after like 24 hours.
Oh my gosh.
He ruins
What if
chances.
he knew that that's what that was going to do,
didn't
and it was
care.
actually a potion?
He was just trying to win money.
Yep. It was a potion.
Yeah.
Zack Morris is terrible, but I agree with you that he's an evil wizard.
But like he's canonly an evil wizard because Saved by the Bell is hooked into this expanded universe.
Do you think that maybe his magic makes the bell not ring until he gets into the classroom?
Maybe. He's controller of the bell.
Yes.
He's always saved by the bell.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But here, wait, there's more.
Oh, give that to me, please.
So, Mr. Belding, the character,
Yeah.
not just the actor, the actual character,
Yeah.
appears on an episode of, I believe, Victorious, which is a Nickelodeon show.
I remember this.
So that ropes in the Nickelodeon live-action universe with the Disney live-action universe with the TGIF cinematic universe.
Oh my gosh. Mr. Belding is also on an episode of It's Always Sunny.
Yeah, but he doesn't play Mr. Belding. He plays like a...
He's a coach that
Yeah.
doesn't molest little boys.
Yeah.
But they say that he does.
Yeah.
But he still works at a school. What if he did molest little boys at Bayside? And then he had to leave, change his name, and started working at this school. And he was like, no, man.
Maybe.
That's what
I mean,
happened.
if Jan Brady is Jan Brady,
Right.
maybe like the It's Always Sunny universe is kind of like a dark alternate universe, like
I could
reflection.
Totally see it. I could totally
Because
see
I mean,
it.
like it's a messed up like sitcom.
Yeah.
Like where actually like messed up shit happens. So it's like a dark reflection, like Buffy Wishverse version of the TGIF cinematic universe.
And then Danny DeVito's in it. So that brings in Taxi. And One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And Batman.
You just say he's just really all of his roles.
He's just
and
all...
Matilda.
he's doing what Leonardo DiCaprio does. Oh my gosh, Danny DeVito. He's a shapeshifter. He's also in that commercial. He's in those new commercials.
He's also on TV at some point.
And that girl had a cardboard cutout of him and took him to prom. Remember? He was there, but it's cardboard.
Danny DeVito exists in the Mean Girls universe because they say, Danny DeVito, I love your work. It's all connected.
Oh my gosh. I just intertwined more things. So Elizabeth Lemon, who is played by Tina Fey.
Just like spiraling and adding everything into it now.
Who is played by Tina Fey is on Mean Girls. She is also on 30 Rock, and she is also on Kimmy Schmidt. I think all of those universes are together.
Oh, like the Tina Fey universe? Yeah, I think so.
All of the Tina Fey universes are, because like they have crossover characters. And Mad Men. Mad Men is in that universe too.
I would love to go through and because like a lot of these shows, like they have the same prop departments. Mm-hmm. So like a lot of them have like the same like bags of chips or newspapers or like soda brands. The plane on Lost, Oceanic something, like 9 something, I don't know. That's the same flight that's used in a lot of shows. Like the flight number, Oceanic something. So like Oceanic Airlines exists in multiple shows. I wonder if there's like an Oceanic Airlines cinematic universe. There probably is.
Do you want me to look it up?
She's gonna look it up.
Oceanics.
I think I've already ran through all of my connections, so you can look up what you want.
I want to wait to talk about the Tina Fey universe to when Elizabeth gets to come with us.
Yeah.
Because we have a friend named Elizabeth. Hi, Elizabeth!
She wants to talk about the Tina Fey universe and also maybe Spice Girls.
Yes, and we are more than happy to accommodate this because hells yes.
For both.
Oceana? Is that what you're talking
Oceanic.
about? Oceanic.
Oh, like ocean icy. Oh, I did have another little note because Mr. Belding ropes the Nick universe into the TGIF universe. There's a line somewhere in Sabrina where she says something about Keenan and Kel, which you would assume is a TV show. But what if she's actually met them? Because she's always teleporting people in all the time. So maybe Keenan and Kel are actual people.
Oh my gosh, and then Saturday Night Live is in it because Keenan's on there and his name is Keenan.
Well, I mean, he's...
Nope. And Good Burger. Good Burger's... Good Burger's in there too. I like that your side of this.
Mine is by fact. Yours just like they acted in things.
Yours is like all these interweaved things. I'm like, oh my gosh, the same actor was in this. Oh, Oceanic Airlines. It's a fictional airline, you don't say. The brand is used predominantly on TV series Lost.
It has appeared in other shows, though.
I'm sure it has.
Like many shows.
Hold on. 1996 executive decision. It was in a film executive decision. Apparently, it's in a bunch of universes.
Yeah.
It's in comics too.
Yeah.
It's in Alex. I don't know what that comic is. Daredevil, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, season 8.
Maybe.
I did not know this. Buffy's in this too.
Oh.
Also, that one vampire episode with
Sabrina?
on Sabrina, it's very much so a ripoff of Buffy.
Yeah, because she's trying to slay a vampire, and her cheerleader uniform is red and yellow.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's just coincidence, though.
Just a coincidence.
You know, Buffy wasn't at its highest point at that point. Not by any means.
Well, yeah, it was.
I'm being sarcastic.
Is
That was sarcasm dripping from my mouth.
I'm just trying to remember the actual year. It was like, what, 2001? So Buffy was like season 5, 6.
Oceanic flight lose a wing and almost crash before being saved by one of the major protagonists. That's Buffy season 8. I bet like Buffy just put a lasso in the air and was like, "Let's do this."
She's suddenly Wonder Woman.
She's yes. Yes.
Yes. We'll have to revisit Buffy again sometime. I've already brought it up to you, the episode idea of Willow being awful.
She is awful. We've been talking about doing that one for a very long time.
And people, like, I mentioned it once on our Facebook page, and people were like,
No, don't you talk about Willow like that. Something else that I really want us to talk about is what is it that causes Buffy's powers? Because, what is it in her body that starts? And I think I know what it is. Because, now I just want to talk about it on here. Because, I see your face and you're like, wait a second, what?
I mean, we can, because, honestly, my list is done. I've made all my connections. So,
But it's completely an offshoot.
It's fine. How long have we been recording?
Probably a long time. Let's take a look at this. 52 minutes.
See, that's relatively conservative. So go ahead. Let's talk about random Buffy facts now that the TGIF universe is done. This is just going to be just a 90s episode.
So here is my thinking of what happens when you become a Slayer. Mm-hmm. I believe that you get Cushing's disease. Now here's why. Because that episode... Okay, Cushing's disease is when you get really high cortisol levels and your adrenals are constantly pumping. So it gives you superhuman strength and you have really quick reactions to things.
Yeah.
Until you have it way too long and way too much to where it breaks your body down. So I was thinking about this the other day. On Buffy, the way that the council stopped her from having powers is they gave her cortisol managers. Things that stopped her adrenals from pumping.
Well, okay.
So I was like, that girl has got Cushing's disease.
That's interesting.
Yes. Yes. And also, she definitely has symptoms of PTSD, which is something that is notorious for people with Cushing's disease. Because it's a stress problem.
Well, I mean, it's also something that's notorious with people that are constantly almost being murdered.
Oh, absolutely. So. Absolutely. But I meant just as a physical thing, that Cushing's kind of goes hand in hand because your adrenals are pumping and you're stressed out all the time. And you're fight or flight 24/7. But that's Buffy. I think that's why. I think that's what turns on in their bodies. Because Faith is actually the same way. Mm-hmm. Faith's ready to fight or run away constantly, which is your adrenals.
Yeah.
You know? So I think that's what causes the superpowers in Slayers.
I mean, they also have, demon spirits in them.
What if it's the demon spirit that causes it to do that?
It just shows up. It's
hey, let's get this adrenal pumping.
I'm going to give you Cushing's disease.
Get ready.
I'm so evil. I'm a demon with Cushing's disease.
Here you go. But I think that they caused. I think the council caused her to get Addison's, which is the exact opposite of Cushing's, where your adrenals are too low, because she started being really tired and she couldn't think and she couldn't function and she was just really out of it, which is Addison's. So I think that's what it is. I think that's what triggers you to get your Slayer powers.
Interesting.
Yeah. I want to do an entire podcast on our reasonable reasons for magic.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, like, there's different things. We could probably roll all of that into one because you also had a topic about whether or not you think Anya has autism.
I am. Why don't we do
she's-
like the reasonings, like why certain characters are certain ways?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah. We should.
We just roll it all together.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Guys, thanks for listening to our podcast. This episode was zany goodness.
Well, we're going to. This is going to be a shorter than usual episode because this was just kind of like a quick thrown together upbeat.
Yeah.
Since we needed an upbeat episode.
We needed
the
upbeat.
Holidays were rough.
Exactly. Holidays are rough, and also I just got over laryngitis, so.
I just got out of the hospital.
Right.
Like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So.
So
Everything has been a mess.
this is the first podcast that we're recording. Well, us together. She just recorded an episode about The Masked Singer,
Which is so
I'm
fun.
super upset I wasn't involved in. Actually, I'm not.
sorry.
Like, I enjoy listening to you guys talk about it. It's just like, but then like I felt obligated to watch the show, so I was like, okay, whatever. And then
It's
I
fun,
watched
though.
it.
It's a
and
fun
I'm just
show.
like, LaToya Jackson is totally the alien.
Yes.
Man.
Well, I had mentioned LaToya Jackson before, and because the reasons why I thought it was LaToya was because number one, the snake, she did that Playboy thing with the snake, and then number two, she was on the Psychic Friends Network.
Yeah, and she's got
and there's
all the
been all that
crystal balls.
stuff, right? All that stuff about is the alien psychic?
Yeah.
But they did so much vocoder on her voice, and they didn't have her dancing the first two episodes.
I feel
that
like
was
she had
in.
like a shot collar on, and every time she tried to tee-hee, like, they were like, zap.
They're like, don't you do it, girl. Don't you do it. They're going to know. They're going to know you're LaToya. And then the last episode that she was on, she tee-heed, and they didn't have the vocoder on her voice. So you could hear the Jackson quality in her voice. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's LaToya.
And then she was like, I have a police badge, and it's from Muncie, Indiana, and it's real. And she was on a reality show called Armed and Famous that took place in Muncie, Indiana,
Yeah.
where she was a cop.
Yep.
So that's her.
And
you
she's
guys.
originally from Gary, Indiana.
Yeah. Didn't they reveal the Raven this week?
Yes, and it's Ricky
It's
Lake.
Ricky
I was
Lake.
correct.
I knew, like, from
Yeah.
the beginning. I knew that voice.
We
like,
have been correct about all of them.
Yeah.
Except for LaToya Jackson, but that's because they didn't give a squat on her.
Yeah.
But now they did.
Yeah. Yeah. I think all of our assumptions are correct at this point.
The last episode, they showed the monster, and none of the judges picked up any of this, but they kept showing like video game stuff. And
Yeah.
I'm like, why aren't you guys noticing this? Because it kept saying like game over and like points, and then on the end, like his thing that he wanted to show everyone that gave a clue was a headset. And they were like, oh, he's a sports announcer. I was like, no, you fools, that is a video gamer headset.
Yeah.
T-Pain is a Twitch star. So it's
Twitch
T-Pain.
streaming.
We are correct.
Oh.
Yep, he's a Twitcher. He's a Twitcher.
Yeah, I mean, you've been correct so far. That's horse
Yeah.
spelling. And...
The only people I didn't know was sports people, and that's just because,
Yeah, I didn't
don't know
know. I
sports.
didn't know the sports people.
yeah, I don't know sports.
I knew Margaret Cho. I know you didn't know Margaret Cho. I knew her because I was just like, I know that voice. Plus, like, she's done on all of her recent comedy specials. She started singing now.
Good for her.
So
She has a pretty voice. She does. I like her voice. So far I have really liked everyone's voices except for the first person that was gone, and that was like a quarterback or something.
yeah, he was just a football player.
I like they were like a football player or whatever.
Sports.
Sports. Who cares about sports? Nobody. But yeah. So yeah.
Is The Masked Singer on ABC?
Yes.
So we're still on point because TGIF was on ABC.
Hey, wait a second. Was 90210 on ABC?
No,
Oh,
it was on Fox, I think.
sorry everyone. I was gonna link it. All right, my friends. We love you, and thanks for listening to our podcast.
Yeah, be sure to check us out on our Facebook, our Twitter, our Instagram.
We're gonna start posting nudes on there, so you better watch.
Not on there. I have a separate site for that. Also, we have blogs now.
Yeah, we got blogs.
So we have
on our Podbean.
Our pal Amy has one up. I'm probably gonna do one for this stupid movie I just watched. I just want to watch. It's funny.
We have a lot of exciting things that we're gonna be doing.
Yes,
we're talking video content.
Possibly some exclusive stuff for our Patreon. Some commentary tracks. Just lots of different things that we're experimenting with because it's a new year. It's a new us. Well, it's the same us, but it's just like new things.
More an improved us.
Yeah, like we're growing. This is something that we would like to take to the next level.
Right.
We would like to start, turning this into a business, and we would like to include you guys. So if you could just show us some support, just like our pages, maybe toss a few bucks our way. Yeah. It would be really helpful.
Because I'm going to be honest with you guys, my husband and I overdraft our account every single time that we have to pay for Podbean. So if you... Oh God, Podbean came out too early! Well, they come out at a weird time that you just don't expect it to come out. And they never come out at the same exact time, so we're constantly being overdrafted.
It's $15 a month. So if you want to give us $15, that'd be super.
That would take care of an entire month for us. That'd be great. It'd be great. So if you could please do that, that would be so wonderful. We'd be able to have the podcast keep going and not go bankrupt.
Mm-hmm. And, we might be throwing in some little things for you, like stickers or t-shirts or cat-themed merchandise.
Yeah, because we have cats on this podcast.
There's at least 5.
At least. Now, I just wanted to point out that altogether for the entire year, we only have to have $180 for this to be able to be supported and to keep it going. So if you guys could please this is a call to action. If you can help us, that would be so wonderful. Mm-hmm. And we appreciate all of it, and we'll send you some goodies.
Hey, a subscription to our Patreon is only $1.
Right.
We have an exclusive episode up there right now. We will be adding more.
Yes.
Within the next couple of weeks, hopefully. So, you get extra content if you just give us $1.
Yeah. Cool. Give us $1 and just, be like, sup, dudes? Use our friend. We have 300 and something fans on Facebook.
We do.
If each one of them gave us $1, we would have 300. We could pay for 2 years of our podcast.
If every one of you gave us $1, if every one of you gave us 50 cents, we could pay for 1 year.
Yes, we could. So please, it doesn't.
I don't know why you wouldn't just give us the extra 50 cents and get some free stuff.
Yeah, totally. Well, I think for t-shirts, we'd want to do $15.
Well, yeah, that'd be extra because t-shirts. So if you want some merch, I'm learning, I'm doing art stuff now. I'm learning graphic design. Mm-hmm. So hopefully I'll be able to get us a new logo up soon with some cool things.
It's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be me. Oh my gosh, Joey Fatone is on The Masked Singer as the White Rabbit. It's all come full circle. It's all come full circle. He was on Sabrina. He was on Clueless.
He is what links us all together.
He does.
Thank you, Joey Fat One.
You did it, honey. You did it.
So, TGIF is in a cinematic shared universe. Mm-hmm. Joey Fatone was the secret link all along.
Yeah.
Please give us $1 and subscribe to our stuff.
We love you. Also, Infinite CBD, 10% off if you do the Nerdy 3010. Don't put the. It's not going to work if you put the.
Yeah.
Nerdy 3010. Get on there, honeys. Get yourself some CBD and start feeling good. Anyway. All right. Bye, guys.